Hi there, this is Jamie Dyer, and this kitchen novice is about to make paella for the first time. This has been adapted from a recipe on the BBC Good Food website. I'll leave that in the description below. The first step is to get a tablespoon of oil. I've come to the end of that, so I'm going to say that's about enough. So let's put that on. I've let the oil heat up a bit, so now I've got some chopped onions which go in, and I've just got to let them soften for 5 minutes. And while we do that, let's make hot stock first. So to make this hot stock, I've got chicken stock cubes, just going to put 2 in there. I have boiled the kettle already, and we'll just fill this up. So pouring that in, we want about 900. Which we're nearly there. About there, I would say. Let's now stir this in, and we can see that the water is starting to change colour. Let's try and squash these down because they're quite squidgy, but they're holding their shape, as you can see. Look, it kind of looks like a crouton, so we're going to keep doing that. And if we just go over to the onions for a moment, we can see that they're cooking in there. The oil's kind of soaking them up. Nice smell of onions in the air. I know some people don't like it. I'm one that does. So the onion is softening in the pan and the hot stock is nearly ready to go. Let's get some Spanish paella rice by Sainsbury's, and let's measure this out. Whoa, pouring action again. So we want about 300 grams, which are nearly there. That'll do. We're just over, but I think that'll be okay. Now we're going to have a teaspoon of hot paprika and a teaspoon of thyme. We're going to stick it in there along with the rice. So that's the thyme in there. Now let's stick the rice in, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can. So we'll just stir this round now and get this to cook. And we're starting to see some colour in there from all the various ingredients. I think that's the hot paprika. I might have put a tiny bit too much in, but I'm sure when everything is mixed together it won't be nearly as bad as I think it might be. So this is a little bit like the chili recipe that I did a while ago, where it's about the process, just putting all these different ingredients in, letting them cook for a little while, and dealing with canned stuff. It's the return of canned tomatoes. Tinned tomatoes. Tinned or canned? I can never remember. I think they're both the same thing, aren't they? Right, so let's pour those in. I'm going to try not to make a mess. Watch me now. Right, while that's fizzing away, let's put this hot stock in. And I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can. Wow. Okay. We've gone into almost soup-like territory. It's covered it completely. So let's just mix this around a bit. This is one of those situations where you look at it, and aside from a few bits floating on the top, if you didn't know, you wouldn't realise there was stuff underneath. Although it's becoming clearer each moment. So the next step is to leave this now to simmer for 15 minutes or so and just come back to it, stir occasionally, but I'll skip to the next step. This has been simmering away here now for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to do one quick stir through like that. And now, time to put all the seafood stuff in. So I've got some white fish, which has been cut up, which I'm just going to put into there, like that. And secondly, got some prawns, which are going everywhere. But what I'll do is, I'll just stir those in and try not to lose everything. Almost feel like I'm folding it in slightly, but apparently I'm not supposed to stir this too much, otherwise it resembles a risotto more than paella. So I'm going to say about there. So we'll put that on, we're going to put the lid on. I'm going to turn this up from 3 that I've currently got it on to 6, and then we're going to leave this just to stew away for another 5 to 10 minutes. The paella is now finished after being in there for about 10 minutes, just boiling and simmering away. So let's take a couple of spoonfuls to try. And you can hear there, you've still got some of that crackling going on, because I don't know whether you can see this, but the bottom of the rice there is stuck to the pan. So I think we'll do it to about there. So I've been told I need a little bit more, and you can see it's got crispy on the bottom, which is apparently desired, so I'm going to put some of that in the bowl. Oh goodness, can't wait to try this. So there we are, that's why that was stuck to the bottom. Kind of looks like an omelette or a pancake on there, but you've got that crispy edge. And what we're going to do in a minute is we're just going to garnish it. We're just going to cut that up, flat leaf parsley. So after everything that goes into that process, we now have a finished paella, and like I say, the recipe that we base this on I will put in the description below. But now it's time to try a bite. Now, how do we do this? Do we try and get a bit of everything, or do we just do lucky dip? It's still warm. It's tomatoey, it's fishy, that's also incredibly hearty as well. I'm going to try and see if I can get some of the crust from the bottom, because I bet that's got its own almost like caramelization effect. You can see, look, there's some stuff from the bottom of the pan. That part of it, as you would expect, is crunchy, but you've got, as I say, that seafood flavour. You've got the rice in there, which is a nice texture. Tiny bit chewy, maybe that's something that I can work on a future time that I do this. I can't really taste the onions per se, but I'm sure they're doing something in this mix. The parsley, when it was put on the top, was just a nice little garnish on the top. But I think, again, all these things work together, and it was a relatively easy recipe to assemble and put in. It's just kind of putting things in specific orders and then just leaving it to simmer and do all its goodness. So do try this yourself, and I will see you once more for another Jamie Tries Cooking video.